Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the late start. Little technical difficulty, but good things come to people who wait, and here we are. It's a good thing right here. Kevin Ahern. A lot of you guys have seen him in live training. He's phenomenal in person. He assured me that he's going to give the performance of all performances. Yeah. Loves coming to Rhode Island. Yeah. So, very, very good. Powerful listing presentation. You know, how to go and get the business. And I've seen this, I think twice actually, and very, very impressive. So please pay attention. It will make a difference in your career. Take notes, but you know, when you leave here today, study it. That's what you need to do. Coming here today is not going to be enough, but taking what he teaches you and then internalizing it will make a huge, huge difference. He's a real professional. He's 30 years plus. How many years in the business? 35?
38.
38? He doesn't
38.
Old enough.
38. I started when I was 12.
Yeah. That's it, exactly. So please, a warm welcome for Kevin Ahern.
Before I forget, we are getting to St. Patty's Day, so happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Actually, I thought it was St. Patty's Day. I walked in the door like most of the time. I saw that young couple sitting there drinking a pitcher of beer. I said, hey, I'm home. I'm where I need to be. Look, I really appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you. I want to make sure before we get started, we are starting a little bit late, but that's not catastrophic. I can make up the time. Everybody should have one of these, all right? It's a handout. Hopefully you got it when you came in. You're going to be utilizing this a lot, so please make sure, put your name on the front page, because maybe at the break you're going to get up and maybe not come back to the same spot, and all of a sudden, oh my God, where's my handout, etc. So put your name on it. This way you'll know you have the right one, sure. Look at this. And by the way, the brains, the brains. This is my wife, I am not highly technical, so if I don't bring her along, there's no presentation. Let's put it that way. There'll be a presentation, but without this. In fact, I just recently, reminds me, I just got an iPhone 4S. I used to have a dumb phone, now I have a smartphone, and I'm still struggling to make it work for me, but the very first text I sent out to my daughter. She's out in Colorado. She works out there with Home Depot, and I text her, I said, I finally got an iPhone 4S, and this is my very first text ever, and I get this back from her. Welcome to the 21st century. That was it. So, but I'm not highly technical. I mean, have you had Jeff Lobb up here?
Yes.
You know who Jeff is? Short little Jeff, the gadget guy. I mean, he's my buddy. Anytime I have any technical challenges, we sort of go back to Jeff and we say, Jeff, help me, because we don't know what we're doing. But it's great to have that kind of resource, and I've got that with my wife as well. Before I get started, I'm going to ask you honestly, how many of you feel you might be here, and don't worry that Sean's in the room, but under broker duress? You were sort of threatened with your life and you didn't show up today. Well, good. How many of you, though, let me ask this, how many of you, by a show of hands, would consider yourselves really good, strong listing agents, as opposed to working the buyer side? You see, now you're in the right place. You know, if you were with me at any point in the fast track training that I do over the TV, the one thing I try to tell you, and this is, you got to get this early on in your career. If you want to be a consistent top producer, listings in this business, they're the name of the game. Believe me when I tell you, because he or she and yourself who controls that listing, you're going to end up controlling the entire transaction. One of the things I think that drives people out of this business prematurely is because you get so frustrated. Have any of you been in a transaction with another broker, and let's say they were the listing broker, and you're trying to get information and get something happening, and they're not getting back to you? Is that not frustrating? Yes. Well, you know what it is. You're out of control, because they control the listing, they control you, they control the whole transaction. So you always want to be on the listing side of this business. That's a great way to lean into this. So you're in the right place at the right time. I think one of the things, though, I'm going to tell you, you will not have to worry about anything that we are going to cover today unless you get the message coming out of tomorrow's program, which deals with power prospecting. Because if you don't consistently prospect and chase down the right people the right way at the right time, you won't have anybody to present to. So you'll never have to worry about this. But the flip side of that is this. The last thing you want to do is get yourself in a legitimate presentation opportunity circumstance and then be practicing on the live ones. You follow me? Where you're going in and you're not really ready for it. That's what this program is all about. Now, how many of you, like Sean already admitted, he's been with me a couple times in this program, how many of you participated in this program with me anytime prior to this? Anybody? Just a couple. Good. Okay. Now, how many of you have participated with me in fast track training over the TV? Right. Now, in that, okay, we have module number 5 deals with what we call the listing presentation. I'm going to reference it differently today as I do in fast track. I'm going to call it what it is. It's a marketing presentation. You're going to go in and make a marketing presentation during which you're getting a marketing proposal because you want to be the marketing coordinator for that property. And for all of the great work that you do, you're going to get paid a marketing fee. So everything today deals or hinges on the word marketing. Why? Because that's really what the business is. Real estate is first and foremost a business of marketing. Secondarily, it's a business of selling. So what we've got to do is get a grip on the marketing side of what we do in the form of this presentation. Now, you've got this handout. The very first thing I'm going to do, if my remote control behaves itself, I'm going to open up with a quotation. And it comes from a terrific, those of you that have had me in training before, whether it's in person or on TV, you know that I'm an avid reader. And I recommend to all of you very strongly that you do more reading maybe than you're naturally prone to do. Some of the books are easy to read, some of them a little bit more challenging. But nonetheless, this book is an easy book to read. It's called The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. And the author of the book is Jack Trout, like the fish. Jack Trout, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. And this one deals with perception. And really what it comes down to, it says that, there's only one perception in the world of marketing that really, really matters. And that's the perception in the mind of the consumer. What do you mean? That's the perception is in the mind of the consumer. It doesn't matter the way you and I, as a service provider, perceive a particular situation. We've got to get in touch with their perception. In other words, there are different lenses through which people look at different circumstances. And what we've got to do is sort of put our lens aside and try to get in touch with the lens through which they're seeing the situation. So what we're going to try to do now is we're going to adjust the lens that they're looking at us through so that we have a better chance of not only getting a listing, but getting what we call a marketable listing. The last thing you want to do is just get a listing. You always want to target to get a marketable listing. Question?
Kevin, it's kind of strange. I pulled that book out of my college book box this morning.
Did you?
I mean, it's in the front seat of my car. I had that book in marketing class in grad school. And I went through and I was grabbing some stuff this morning. I saw the books to bring to my brokerage. And I was going to give it to my agents to read. It's a fantastic book. And it's a short read, it's a quick read, but when you pull out of it,
I appreciate the input. There are some books that are really challenging. And so if you're not an avid reader, you start with a book like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I love that book. But if you're not an avid reader, on the Richter scale of reading, that book is a 9. The only thing that surpasses it is War and Peace. I mean, it is a challenging book. It's a great book. But if you started with that book, you would get somewhat discouraged. By the way you read challenging books like that is like one baby step at a time. Read like 10 pages at a time with a highlighter. And then put the book down for 24 to 48 hours. And then when you pick the book up again,